Hey, it's Jabbo. Welcome to BrickTsar, your home for vintage Lego. Today we're going to be looking at a Lego set that is now, I can't believe it, it's 15 years old. It is the Lego Eiffel Tower set 10181. This was quite an impressive set in the day for 2007, and it is still an impressive set. I did own it then when it first came out. I bought a damaged box at the Lego store, but unfortunately I sold it in 2012, in November 2012. I went back and checked. I have pictures from my eBay listing of the box. I did not have the picture of the actual set. I'm still looking for it. I have found it in a couple of images from my early YouTube days before the channel BrickTsar. It's just kind of in the background in a couple of videos, but I can't find the actual picture of this thing fully assembled from my original copy. But I have it again, and the great thing about this set is it can be built in 3 easy steps, much like a Tootsie Roll Pop. Oh no, I just broke it. Oh my goodness, I did break a piece off there. So I'm going to tell you what I learned by bricklinking this together, or rebricking it, or whatever you want to call it. I pieced this set together from the parts list on Bricklink, and I'm going to tell you the things that I learned while doing that. I saved a lot of money doing it that way, because when I sold this back in 2007, my original copy, sold it for $850 with a box, and it used. And you can get it for less than that, but piecing it together, I spent about $300 to piece it together using parts from my Bricklink store and bricks and pieces and such. Now, some of the common parts are on bricks and pieces, some of them are not, and I think there is an error in the Bricklink inventory. Now, with any of the inventories out there, take them with a grain of salt. There can be errors because these things are made by humans. But also keep in mind that there can be different varieties of the same set. Lego has, throughout its history, changed the inventory or redone a set or used different molds of the same part. This one, there are parts that you can't use different molds. This one, there are parts that look better with the actual ones. And we're going to go over that as I look at this. Thing doesn't even fit on the camera. It's too tall. It is huge. And I thoroughly enjoyed building it. I don't think this is a set that Lego would make today. They would, without redesigning it, for sure. Like if they were to do a throwback set, like bring something back, and they were to bring back the Eiffel Tower, much like they did with the Taj Mahal, they would redesign this, because there are some techniques in here I don't like, and they just seem unstable. But I think Lego has the different elements now where they could kind of fix these problems. So, wow, this thing, it's impressive. It is impossible to get a good shot. My wife tried taking pictures of it on the dining room table. It's just so big and impressive, it's hard to get a good shot of it. But for the time period, this was, what, $200 retail price set. It's 3,000 and something. I got to look up the piece count. There's a lot of pieces, a lot of dark bluish gray pieces, but it's an impressive build once you get it done. And yeah, not bad price, and it's one of the more affordable, I should say, discontinued sets of this scale. I mean, look how much bigger it is, taller it is than the AT-AT. This is the $800 AT-AT. This is the $200 Eiffel Tower, which you can get if you look. I mean, like I pieced it together for about $300. You could piece it together for that, or you could buy a used one for about $500 to $600. If you wanted it with the box and everything, might be a little more. I don't know. But yeah, let's get the camera off the tripod, and we'll talk about what I learned while building this impressive Lego set 10181, Eiffel Tower, 1/300th scale, I should say. So as I get close-ups of this, I'll let you know the parts that I substituted, well, most of them, and the ones that I think I probably, if I had to do it over, I might use different elements. But to begin with, it's on 4 32 by 32 green base plates, the ones that used to be real common that they don't make anymore right now. The ones that you see that are green are the bright green. They're not this old regular green. Then everything else is like common colors, reddish, few reddish brown parts, a few tan parts. Then most everything else is dark bluish gray. We got the light gray tiles, and then these windows. This is the part I really think this is a mistake in the inventory. I don't think any of these came with the trans clear windows here. So I have placed a Bricklink order to get the 60 windows that are in trans black. I've had a lot of comments from people saying theirs were trans black. I couldn't tell from my original photos because it was so dark. I do have a photo somewhere, still looking for it, of this thing on display in the bedroom. And I should be able to tell from that photo if I can find it if they were definitely trans black, but pretty sure they were. When you look at the instructions, they're trans black. When you look at the code that Lego puts in the instructions, it's the code for trans black, not trans clear. And just looking at all the images, I went and looked at, there's only a handful of YouTube videos out there that people have done this. Austrian Brick Fan, Nickname 2002 are the main ones that I saw, but there's a couple others. Yeah, theirs were trans black, so definitely going to switch these out. So I used trans clear windows. I'm going to change those to trans black, going all the way. Again, there's 60 of them. I guess that's at least 60. How does that divide? It must be 60 divided into 4 is what? 15 per side. So that's one part I would definitely change. Other part, there is this black 8x8. Some of them have a hole. I used all of them that didn't have a hole. There's some up here on this level, and there's one way up here at the top. The instructions, it shows the one with the hole. So if you want to be true to the actual model, it probably is that, although I think that's also an alternate item. It could be either one. So that's one thing that's different. Another is this large 8x16. I use the ones that have studs all on the underside. There are some that just have the studs on the edges on the underside. I don't want to take this up. I didn't have an extra one to show you, but I used the ones that have studs all around it, and it doesn't matter. So that works with that. Another part is, let's see if I can find example. Okay, this part right here. This is a 1x2 jumper. This is one with the groove. I have some on here without the groove. I think they look better without the groove than with the groove. Here's two side by side, with the left without, the right with. Oh man, looking at this through the camera, it kind of zooms it in for me, so I'm seeing how crooked my bricks are. But yeah, I think I would use the without. If I had to do it over again, I think I would get all of those jumpers without the groove. I think it would be a cleaner look. So that's that may be personal preference. And if you were to order these parts on Bricks and Pieces today, they'd be the modern version, and they would all have the groove for the most part. One part that you cannot substitute is this 1x5. It has the piece at the top, the stud is recessed, kind of like it is on these headlight bricks like that, where the piece for the jumper bricks fits right in the middle of it. So you cannot substitute that, or else you'll have to make your own modification to the build to make it work. So those are some of the changes. Oh, and another big difference in what the Bricklink inventory showed, this little flag at the top, it showed trans clear. The alternate shows two other colors. I think technically this should be metallic silver. It's in a bunch of sets, so I've ordered me metallic silver antenna. I'm going to replace this trans clear. I think that's an error. I doubt that it came with trans clear because it just doesn't look right. This is a part that shouldn't be clear. I think, and I think that's just what somebody put on the inventory. When you look at the code in the instruction book, it's for the metallic silver version. So I'm going to go with metallic silver. I've ordered that. I'm going to replace it to do that. Oh, let me take this thing apart, and then we'll show you all the sections not connected. So here is the frame. This is a challenging build. I don't think it's one that it's up there with Technic in skill level, as far as it can be frustrating because it has no stability until you start connecting sections across. These are really flimsy using these slope pieces, and then even so, I'm not quite sure I got it completely level. And it's just, you see there's a little give in it there. It's not sturdy, but by connecting everything together, then all of a sudden it gets sturdy. So it's got that. These little lifts here are these elevators on either side. You got yellow on this side and red. These pieces, I don't know exactly how they look. They were a little challenging as far as, like, if they come off, they're hard to put back on. So be careful with that. And then here's the inside frame that connects to. It's got these little studs on the edge, and then it just kind of just floats in there. The piece does. And when you put it in, you want to make sure your elevators line up. So I'll put this piece on. So I think you have more. It's got a little give to it. I think that's more of me not being perfect with the build. It's just not quite level, but it works. Yeah, it works. So then you got this. Here's the base for the upper level. Now again, it goes to one elevator on this level. So you got two here, then one here, and then, again, if those pieces come off this one stud that's holding them, they are very hard to put back on. I knocked this yellow one off a couple of times, and still I don't feel like, it feels like it's crooked to me. It feels like it should be over, but that's the way it goes. So over on this side. Now, I'm always grabbing this thing, but you got to be careful because some parts of it are not that sturdy. And there's the red and yellow elevators. It goes all the way up inside there. And you think you're almost done when you build these two levels. This last third level, even though it's skinnier, it was the most time consuming of the levels and the challenging. Now you got a couple of floating elements here. This fence piece is holding all these bricks under it, and they're just floating on top of this panel. And I got little things like this where the pieces would come off. See, it's really easy to accidentally knock that out. I'm afraid to touch it. See how it just rocks there? I don't like that build. I don't like these. They're kind of floating there. There was another piece. See if I can remember where it was with the fence. I think it's I think some of these fences are just hanging on by one stud. It looks like they're floating on a piece, but they're just hanging on by one stud. It's just weird that they got them like that. And I think another thing they had to do is, in some places when they're using these jumper bricks, they have to use plates that are 1x instead of 2x, because the 2x it would not connect. So they'll have two 1x6 plates side by side, or two 1x8 plates side by side instead of a 2x8 or 2x6, because you got to connect it to the bricks underneath that are kind of offset by half a stud. You see that? See how these are offset by half a stud? I think that's pretty neat. Pretty cool set. I recommend piecing it together instead of buying one. Yeah, again, if you don't have a Bricklink store, obviously it'll be a little more challenging. But again, a lot of the common parts you can get on Bricks and Pieces. The fences, just find a seller that's selling those fences. I don't think they're on Bricks and Pieces. And then the plates, the big 8x16 plates. But yeah, it's not that difficult to piece together. It is difficult to build. And I am going to change out, like I said, my windows. I'm going to put the trans black. I'm going to switch those out. I'm going to switch the antenna that's at the very top. That doesn't even show up. It's out of the picture. It's way up there. It's just impressive for this set. So I'm really happy to have this again in my collection. It's one of those sets that I regretted later that I sold. But I was, yeah, I was at a point where I needed some cash flow, and I sold it, and now I got it again, but at a less price. Of course, I don't have the original instructions. I'll keep on the lookout for them. The thing with the original printed instructions, they're around $200 or more, $200 or more. Eventually, I'm hoping I'll see somebody selling them for less. It's crazy how some of these limited sets or expensive sets at the time, how the instructions will be as much or more than the set was itself when it was out. That's just crazy to think. So don't throw your instructions away to big sets. I think of the ones like this AT-AT. One day those instructions will be very expensive. I don't think they'll be $800, but they will be expensive, because when this set's discontinued, you'll have people trying to piece it together like I did with the Eiffel Tower. I've seen tons of these discontinued sets, people do that. And again, if I think if Lego was to re-release this, they would do a change in the build, because it's just a lot of places it's not very stable. Even where I didn't mention it, but the little neck clips that go around, they're holding these 1x2 plates. It's kind of, those could pop off. It's not the greatest build, but you're not going to be playing with this. This is a set that's just to display, and I think as long as you don't play with it, knock it around, it's going to be all right. If you're taking it to shows or conventions, like if somebody was just putting it as part of their city, I don't think it'd hold up well to travel. But you're going to have it displayed somewhere. If you're that guy that has only one Lego set and you're having this somewhere, it's going to be fine. It's going to collect dust, easy to clean. Anyway, that's the Eiffel Tower set 10181 that I pieced together. Very happy to have this thing again, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll probably do an update just showing you what it looks like with the trans black windows when those come in. Hopefully I won't break this thing. It's scary bringing it downstairs. I mean, don't carry it all as one. Definitely divide it into the 3 sections if you're going to move it somewhere. But yeah, Eiffel Tower. Never been there. Never been to that part of France. But now I got this. Hopefully the AT-AT won't knock it over. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back again with another one. So, hey, if you like discontinued Lego sets, subscribe, because that's what I got a lot of. And I'm going to be doing more videos featuring vintage Legos. Is this vintage? It's 15 years old. I just still can't get over that, how it's 15 years old. It just seems like the other day it was here, and now it is here. Wait. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.